Hey guys, it's been a while since I last did a Disney ranking video here on the channel, and last time we looked at the post-Renaissance era, which was a really intriguing era that I was really looking forward to exploring. It had some great Disney films, some pretty mediocre Disney films, and also some of the worst Disney films that Disney has ever offered. But it was a really intriguing era, and I'm glad I sat through it and watched all those films and ranked them here for you guys. But all good things must come to an end, and it is time to look at the final Disney era, the Disney Revival era, which consists of 10 films and took place between 2009 and 2019 and really helped Disney out, especially after the post-Renaissance, with some middling box office returns, just not what they were looking for, especially after the Renaissance era, and the post-Renaissance didn't bring them the critical reception that they got back during the Renaissance era, but the Revival age brought all that back with great box office returns, great just critical reception, fan reception, and many of the films that were released during this time have gone on to become staples of Disney animation and some of the best offerings that Disney has. And a lot of that is due to John Lasseter being placed as the head of animation for Disney Animation. He really brought something to Disney that was really missing during the post-Renaissance and helped form and create some of the best Disney animated movies of this era. Now, a lot of people are in constant debate as to where the Disney Revival era really ends. Some people believe that it ended with Moana back in 2016, while others believe it ended with Ralph Breaks the Internet and Frozen 2 back in 2019. And then there are some people that say that the Revival age is still going strong, and its next film is Raya and the Last Dragon coming out next year. But since Raya and the Last Dragon is just a year away, and I'm a completionist, and I really am not exactly sure where this era exactly ends, because I feel like we're not going to know until Raya comes out next year. I think it's best to put Frozen 2 and Ralph Breaks the Internet in with these rankings, because, I mean, what am I going to do? Rank 2 movies in a video? That would be crazy. So anyway, it makes for a nice 10 in my ranking video. So anyway, let's get started and celebrate this era and look at my rankings, starting with number 10. At number 10, we have The Princess and the Frog, which might surprise some people that it is this low on the list. I really enjoyed The Princess and the Frog. This was my first time ever sitting down and watching this film. I loved the beautiful animation. I loved the characters, and I really loved the music as well as the main villain in this movie. However, it just felt really safe and kind of stale in some places. It just didn't have the creativity that I was really looking for with this era, but I think it is a beautiful film. I think it has some great things in it. Great characters. I love the animation with this film. The directors wanted to base the animation off of Bambi as well as Lady and the Tramp, really saying that those films are the pinnacle of Disney animation, which I think is absolutely great. I really like this film, but it just doesn't hit home for me. It's a really fun film, but it's very forgettable in a lot of ways, and I really hate saying that because I really wanted to enjoy this film, but maybe on multiple rewatches, I can enjoy this film even more. At number 9, we have Ralph Breaks the Internet, which I really enjoyed this film when it originally came out, but upon rewatch, I don't think it holds up as well. I do love a lot of things with this movie, like the animation. I really enjoyed the characters, and I like that Ralph is his own worst enemy in this film. There really isn't a villain in this film. It more or less is Ralph, as he makes plenty of mistakes throughout this film that really have a lot of problems going forward for all the other characters in the movie, and I really enjoyed that, and I thought it was really interesting how they did it. I really like the characters. I think they do a good job of evolving them and changing them. I love the animation. I love the sequence where Vanellope goes into the Disney website and we get the Disney princesses scene. I think that scene is absolute gold. It's a gold mine of just great jokes and great commentary. But overall, I found this film just lesser than its original counterpart. The ending isn't as strong as Wreck-It Ralph, but I still think this is a really fun film that gets a lot of flack, but should be enjoyed nonetheless. At number 8, this actually really surprised me because I was thinking this was going to be my lowest one, but it is Frozen 2. Back when Frozen 2 originally came out, I didn't really love this film or really care for it that much. I was really disappointed by it, actually. I just didn't think it handled its story very well or its characters, but rewatching it, I actually enjoyed myself a lot more than I did the first time. Problems that I had with the film weren't as apparent in this rewatching of it. I still really love these characters. Sometimes I think they do fumble with a few of the characters, not giving them much really to do or evolve with, but I think a lot of stuff that is in this film that I really enjoy really hits home. I love the darker narrative that this movie takes. I think it's a lot more ambitious than its original film, and I really think Elsa is better than ever in this film. She is absolutely phenomenal. The music, though not as memorable, is still absolutely beautiful and I think more complex than the original film in a lot of ways. And I really enjoyed that about this film. However, it's just, for me, it's not as memorable. It has a few problems along the way that keep me from really, really loving the film, but I can say that I enjoyed it a lot more this second time, and maybe if I rewatch it more and more, I'll enjoy it more and more, but we'll have to wait and see. But as for now, it's right here on the list. At number 7, we have Big Hero 6, which was a film I actually was never looking forward to, even when it was being released. I just had no interest in this film at all, and wasn't really looking forward to it when I was planning on watching it for this ranking video. But I really have to go back on my words because I really, really enjoyed this film. I thought it had a ton of heart, some great action, and just beautiful animation. I loved the stuff at the beginning with Hero and his brother and their relationship. I think that is really the heart of this film and what makes it work. Baymax is a great little character. I think this film is absolutely funny with some great comedy, some great jokes, and it was just overall a lot of fun. But I think the villain is rather disappointing as well as pretty predictable, but I still found myself really enjoying this film and really surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Number 6 might be a surprise for some people, but it is the original Wreck-It Ralph. I really love this film, and upon rewatch, I still really love it. However, I just feel like it's rather weak, especially in the first act of the film. It really took me a long time to really get truly invested in this movie, and I really didn't get invested until Vanellope came on screen, and then I just loved the film from that point on till the very end. I think this is a very strong movie, even though I have some problems with it. I love the characters, I love the world, and I think it's so interesting, and I really like the twist with the villain, because it's a twist that actually works, and I think is really clever and a lot of fun. The ending of this film is heart-wrenching. It is far superior to the ending of Ralph Breaks the Internet. I think the ending just really, really hits home and makes me really feel for these characters and realize that I absolutely love these guys. But I feel like the beginning of this film is rather weak and I just couldn't get into it. But it is still a great film nonetheless and I can wholly recommend. At number 5, we have Winnie the Pooh. I absolutely love this film, guys. It is the black sheep of this era of Disney animation because it's not as well loved as other films on this list, and it's the final 2D film that Disney has ever produced, and it just makes me wish that they would go back to 2D animation because this film looks absolutely gorgeous. It is basically, in a lot of ways, a perfect film, but what really holds this film back is the fact that it is an incomplete film. It is only about 50-some minutes if you take away the credits of this film, because with credits, the movie's only 63 minutes, but you can definitely tell there is segments missing from this film, and I feel like if those segments were put back in, that this film would be just as perfect as Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is. I love the animation with this film. I think it does the characters justice. They feel like the characters we know and love. The music is absolutely fantastic and feels like music that was produced back with the Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and I think that is really awesome. But I think this film is extremely overlooked. I absolutely love it, and that's why it's this high on the list. Number 4, this will surprise some people, but it is Zootopia. Zootopia, I really enjoy this film. I love its animation, I love its characters, I love its world. This world is just filled with so much life, and it is perhaps the most creative and unique film that the Disney Revival era has ever made. And also, I love the social commentary with this film. It is definitely just the most timely film that the Revival age has put out, with some great social commentary that I think really sets this film apart and really is very topical, and I love that about it. However, as much as I love this film, and this and the next two films were really hard to rank because I love all these films, but with this film in particular, I hate saying this, but I found myself rather disinterested at a point in the film, and the 2 times that I have watched this film, it has happened in the exact same place. I've lost interest at about the midpoint to near the climax of the film. That's just a part of the film that I just completely forget about. I lose interest, I start playing on my phone and everything, and I'm not as invested, and it's happened twice, and I absolutely hate that that has happened with me with this film, but maybe it's just that I'm not as invested in the film as I want to be. Maybe I'm just crazy, but it really held me back from absolutely loving this film and making it maybe like my number 1 or my number 2, because I think this film has so many great ideas. It is such a good Disney film, but there's just that moment that the film just loses me, and I can't exactly describe why. Maybe it's just me, but that's how I feel about it. But I still think this is a great Disney film nonetheless, and yeah. At number 3, we have Frozen. I absolutely love this film. This is probably the film of this whole list that I have watched the most. I could sit down and watch Frozen any time of the day. I love its characters, I love its world, its mythology. I love the songs in this movie because they're just so heartwarming, so beautifully done, and so memorable as well. And I think this film just gets a whole lot of flack because of how popular it is, and I know some people that just don't like this film, and they have their reasons, but I just can't hate this film. I absolutely love it. I love rewatching it all the time. I recently did a review of it before I saw Frozen 2 last year. I love this film to death. It just fills my heart with so much joy when I watch it. I love the characters, and it's just something that will always stick with me. It's just such a fun film to sit down and watch, and I absolutely love it. At number 2, this really surprised me because I swear I thought Frozen was going to be my number 1 or my number 2, but this film just really hit home, and the more I think about it, the more I absolutely love it, and that is Tangled. Guys, I frickin' love this movie, and I just can't describe why. Actually, I can. So I'm going to describe it to you. But Tangled is like going back home to the Disney Renaissance. It feels the most like a Disney Renaissance film, and that's what I absolutely love about it. I love the characters in this film, and I love the interesting premise that they deal with by really changing up the Rapunzel storyline by making her hair just magical and glow. The animation is absolutely phenomenal. I think it is beautiful. The songs are so wonderful, bombastic, loud, and heartwarming as well. Done by Alan Menken, the great Alan Menken that brought us such great musical tracks as from Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules. This guy is a legend, and I absolutely love his score. I love the characters. Rapunzel is just a fantastic character. I love Flynn Rider and her relationship with him. The animation literally makes me cry when I watch this film. It's just incredible to watch, and it has a great villain too that I think is really, really underrated. I love this film, guys. The more I think about it, the more I absolutely love it, and that is why it is this high on the list. I just can't stop thinking about it. And now we come to my number one favorite Disney film of the revival age, and it is Moana. Guys, this film just surprised me to death. This is just maybe the third or fourth time I have ever watched Moana, but I remember when I originally watched it back in 2016, when I was doing reviews on Instagram of all things, I said that this was my favorite film of the Disney revival age, and it still is. I absolutely love this film. I love the three-dimensional character that Moana is. I love her hopes, her dreams. I extremely just care for this character so much. I love her, how expressive she is. The songs in this film are just absolutely wonderful. I think all of them are unique in a certain way and just bring so much heart and warmth to this film. The animation is absolutely beautiful. The ocean scenes are absolutely fantastic. I love the character of Maui. I think The Rock does a really good job in this film, and I absolutely really do like his songs. Some people talk about how like he doesn't sing very well. I absolutely love him in this film. I love his song, and I like just how this film deals with the Disney princess formula. I think it's just such a bright, colorful, wonderful looking film, and the ending of this film, the climax in particular, when Moana is on the sand and walking towards our villain with the waves just up around her, is just one of my favorite Disney moments ever. It brings a tear to my eye. I absolutely love it. I love this film to death. I could talk about it all day. It is one of my favorite Disney films of all time. It sticks with me. It's emotionally resonating, and I absolutely just love it. It is my favorite of this era. And guys, that does it for my ranking of the Disney Revival era. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my rankings. Even if you didn't exactly agree with them, I still hope you enjoyed this video and seeing how I would rank these films and just how much they had an emotional impact on me. I had a lot of fun doing this ranking video, guys, as well as all the other ranking videos that I've been doing since February. I absolutely loved going on this journey, watching all 58 animated Disney films. It has been an incredible journey going through some films that I have grown up loving and some films that I had never seen. At this point, I had never seen all of the Disney films on this list, and finally, I have seen them all, and these are my definitive lists, and I couldn't have been prouder of going through and watching all these films, especially the fact that I got to see them with my mom and my dad, and I just wouldn't trade that for the world. But guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I want to know what your ranking of the revival age is, because I think this is an era that will have a lot of differing opinions, which I think is really a great way for an era to be, because, I mean, if we all just agreed on the same thing, that would be really boring. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. I might do another video after this, ranking my top 10 favorite Disney films, because I think that's really fun. People might be interested in that. And, I mean, I'm interested in doing it because I think I've watched all these Disney films now, and I have a top 10 favorites. So anyway, I might be doing that soon, but thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.